So the most predictable scenario coming into this chapter was the Straw Hats still being alive, at least for me it was. But I have to admit, I was curious as to how Luffy and Co were actually going to make it out of this, and even by the end of this chapter, they're still not out of the Whole Cake Island district. They're still not out of the woods yet. But I will admit two things for sure. One, obviously, Jinbei's now official member of the Straw Hats, even though we have an official split with Jinbei alongside the rest of the crew. Will Jinbei make it to Wano? It's very, very possible. But right now, and this has been foreshadowed ever since, I guess, Marine thought that Jinbei would do something like this. I mean, he even teased it in this arc. It's not a question of if, but when. So, start off with a cover page. Obviously, we see more of the giants under Harudidin. This time, we actually get to see Girth, and I guess this confirms this is not Bonnie now, because I actually thought the way that in Big Mom's flashback, when it comes to personality-wise, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Bonnie, just because of the way she was addicted to sweets, kind of like Big Mom was, which kind of begs the question: is Bonnie one of Big Mom's daughters? There's still that theory that's been going on ever since the Whole Cake Island arc started. So there's still that connection. We still don't know. We could find out eventually. In fact, the worst generation were mentioned in this chapter. So that could still be answered in due time. In fact, it looks like Big Mom's going to survive past this arc, given by what happens by the end of this chapter. So we start off, I guess, coming to find out that Wano Tsuma is the reason why the sun is still intact. And I said this in the previous review. Pay attention to detail, because that was shown if it was destroyed. Turns out it wasn't even the Sunny. Turns out it was a ship belonging to the Sun Pirates that was made by Fisher Tiger. So that got blew into smithereens. Meanwhile, you have the Sunny in the mouth of Wano Tsuma. Then shout out to Commander Oven for actually doing something. I think this kind of confirms he has a developed fruit awakening now, because he's underwater. So I mean, he created torpedoes like it's underwater, or he actually literally set his flames underwater, which I doubt. So because that's some broken ass stuff if that's the case. So I'm kind of hoping this will get clarified once we get this eventually in the anime. I mean, we see Big Mom actually use it to put throw fruit abilities, literally to make the water alive. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, but it is a little bit broken for like a minister for that to do that. But speaking of commanders, do you actually think we'll actually get to see Kanikuri, because remember, the Sunny technically is still not off Whole Cake Island yet. Big Mom is still giving chase. So they're still in hot water, no pun intended. So we have Wano Tsuma actually shield the Sunny. He comes with the surf. Well, he actually gets hit with the torpedoes by Oven. He comes up to the surface, and I guess he gets blasted all over the place. So that's where Aladdin comes in. He blocks the hit. Says, "We're not gonna Wano Tsuma stand down. We're gonna back you up. The rest of the Sun Pirates." And I like Wano Tsuma. He tried to make amends for what happened on Fisherman Island, because he was working with Hody Jones. This may not make up for what I did, but I'm gonna at least buy you some time so you can get out of here. So that was the goal of the Sun Pirates. We had Aladdin come after Utland, which was kind of cool. We have Praline actually do her thing. In fact, I think she got blasted by one of Big Mom's ship. Mom is on that Candy City slug. So is she going to chase the Sunny on her own ship all the way to Wano? That'd be interesting if that's the case, because a lot of people predicted Big Mom would show up on Wano. So that'd be a way to do it. But I don't know. It does not look good for Jinbei right now. So we have the rest of the crew. I guess the rest of the Sun Pirates act as a shield for the Sun to leave from Jinbei. So Luffy, I can't leave them behind. I need to go help them out. And Luffy says, "Okay, I got you." So Jinbei's like, "Yo, I'll cover you at the rear so you can get out of here." And Luffy's like, "Yo, we'll meet you at Wano." So that's some type of foreshadowing, clearly. I mean, on the part of Oda. And Luffy's like, "Yo, even if you die, don't die. I'm your captain now." So that pretty much guarantees that Jinbei's now a Nakama of the Straw Hat Pirates. So Luffy would not say that, and Oda would not have Jinbei killed off, even though it's been foreshadowed. I don't think it's going to happen yet. Question I have is how the hell Jinbei's going to make it off Whole Cake Island unscathed. But then again, we could have said the same thing about, well, I said the same thing about the Straw Hats and look what happened there. So I don't think Jinbei's, just because Jinbei's staying behind doesn't mean he's going to die yet. A lot of people thought that was going to happen at Wano. Some people foreshadowed this going to happen at Whole Cake Island anyway. Doesn't mean he's going to die, but we don't know yet. And another thing too, we saw Smoothie and Daifuku. Smoothie looked like she had a sword in hand, like she was ready to do some damage finally. Daifuku was already teased to have a fight with Sanji. I don't know if that's going to be the case now, given the well, it could be because they're still not left Whole Cake Island yet. This arc is still not wrapped up, so there's still time. And if not, then it's really. What was the point of Oda dedicating Sanji most of this finale of this arc to Sanji building that cake if Big Mom's going to just do the same thing she did before she ate the cake and got tired? She's giving chase to the Straw Hats. Obviously, Paris Bearer's giving her the word of what's going on. As Big Mom is like, yo, I'm going to snatch the soul of Mugiwara and I'm going to make it to beat me up some homies. Which makes no sense because we know Big Mom's abilities work on those who are scared, and Luffy's not scared of dying. So we saw that with Jinbei, so that would never work on Luffy. So we know technically that's a way of Luffy being immune to that. So I guess this kind of confirms we're actually going to get Luffy versus Big Mom at some point. And another thing too is Katakuri going to make a play before the end of this arc? Because we don't Capone and Chiffon, and I think it was Vito actually mentioned. Oh, I'm worried about the Vince smokes, and so am I, because we don't, or the German, because we don't know what Palette's bearing. We didn't get to see George. We didn't get a proper farewell. He still acted like a douchebag, so that has to happen at some point, unless that's not the end for the Vince smokes, which I've said I don't think it will be, because we have Ichiji, Yonji, Niji, and Reiju facing off against the former commander Snack, right? So that's still taking place. We still have the unknown about, I guess, Pound. What the hell happened to him? So that's still been on question. And the biggest question I have now is where the hell's Pudding? Because we saw in the previous chapter there's a panel dedicated to her in present time. We still don't know what the last request was to Sanji. We may never know. But until Sanji actually leaves Whole Cake Island. But here's my question. Do you actually think before Sanji leaves, he will get a 1v1? And if it is, will it be against Daifuku or somebody else? I don't know what's going to happen to Jinbei because he and Aladdin are paired off trying to hold the fort. They're still in view with Big Mom's ship, which is why I say I think Big Mom could actually catch up to her own ship and actually give chase, which would in fact bring her to Wano. And if Jinbei is going to make it out of Whole Cake Island alive and meet Luffy at Wano, how's he going to get there? That's just my opinion. I mean, the only ways he could do that, in my opinion, German 66 snail ships, which could actually belong to Vince Smokes, they could actually arrive on Wano, which I think would be a pretty cool scenario. Or Capone could actually lend a lift to Jinbei, considering the fact Jinbei was the voice of reason when it comes to the alliance between Luffy, Jinbei, and Capone, not to mention Caesar as well. So that could happen too. Lots of different ways this could play itself out. I do not think Jinbei's going to die, at least not yet. And if he does, that's going to be surprising, considering the fact now he's an honorary member of the Straw Hats, considering the fact Luffy's like, yo, I'm your captain now. Even if you die, don't die. And Nami was the only one that kind of acknowledged Luffy like, you didn't get to see Chopper or Carrot or Sanji, even Sanji in that panel, just Nami, so I thought that was kind of cool. And finally, we get, by the end of this chapter, the last panel we see is actually of, I guess, Big News Morgans and Stussy. I'm assuming that they're on the ship of Big Morgans because it's in the sky, and it makes sense because travel by, obviously they fly around with the newspapers, so that makes sense. And we have Big News Morgans say, like, yeah, you can do it straw hat like a cheerleader, and you have Stussy like, yo, are you behind Mugiwara? Yeah, behind Luffy. And what Big News Morgan says, yeah, because one of the worst generation is rumored to be the next. It's definitely going to be the next King of Pirates, which you already know. But so, does this technically mean Carrot will be the next to join the Straw Hat crew after Wano, which I think will happen as well. So it looks like an elusive reunion is going to happen, but right now, Jinbei's status is pretty much unknown. Let me know what you guys think down below. That's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like this review if you did appreciate that. Subscribe to for more One Piece. Catch you guys later. Bye.